Okay, hey guys, we're on the floor at the ADA SmileCon, and as you've already seen for the last day and a half, 2 days, we're wrapping up the day, and we've got the big show to end it all. And well, tomorrow I'm going to be speaking, but like today, and I am so excited to have my good friend, who I have known you for a very long time.
I know.
You knew me way back when I wanted to leave this industry.
Yes. Many years.
Many years. Shannon Pace-Brinker. So, thank you for being on.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
Okay.
This is so great to be here.
I'm so pumped that you're here. Now, I'm going to do my intro, and then you need to do your intro.
Okay.
You are truly one of the most gifted, smartest. We're going to talk about stuff, and I'm going to be on a 5-second delay. I'm like, wow, that was really smart what she was talking about. I have watched you in the midst of education without much of a script, without much of thinking, impact people powerfully. You can inspire, and you also give voice not only to every part of the practice, but a special place, which are the dental assistants. Now, let me speak for the dental assistants, because I can't. I'm going to, and you ultimately can. This is a special group of people that make a huge impact to the practice. And I told you this before you hit the go button. You're one of those people that can put voice to a very cool group of people that make such a large impact. And you also give them the insight, the knowledge, the education that they don't often get. People always ask me, where should I send my assistant? I'm like, Shannon. That's the only thing I can think of,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You think as an assistant, but bigger than an assistant. You also understand from a clinician standpoint what they're thinking. You can put words to what they're thinking. So
I am just You're so sweet.
Right. And we're going to talk about dentistry a little bit. We're going to talk about the meaningful stuff, which you already know. But I want you to do it. Who is Shannon Pace-Brinker? Who are you?
I will say that I do love dental assistants. My heart has always been for them. I feel like they really work so hard, and they're so talented. Everybody has their own thing, and what they do in the practice really well. And I think sometimes we just don't know what that is, and we got to find it.
Right.
And I also feel like dental assistants feel like they're unworthy. And it's given them the feeling, listen, you are someone, you are great. No matter how you may feel that someone thinks that you are the lowest on the totem pole, or maybe you're not worthy of the status of some of the other people in the practice, but we are worthy,
Right.
And it's what you do with yourself, as far as the education. People say, well, I don't want to pay for my own education. The doctor should be paying for that. It's like, no. You have to invest in you. This is how you're going to grow. But I think the problem right now is we don't have enough people bonding together to be there for that person. And you always have been there. That's why you're so successful and people love you and they're drawn to you, because you really genuinely care about that person and finding out more about them. And I think assistants just don't really have anybody that says, hey, listen, tell me about you, and how can we make you better and help you be fulfilled, because we don't want to lose assistants in this industry. And right now it is a hard time. There are so many openings for assistants, and we need to keep these good people in that assistant's chair. And I just feel like right now more than ever, they need hugs, they need love, they need affection. We need to say we love you, and keeping them there and finding out what can we do to keep them in the office. It's a sad time. We gotta lift them up. It's hard.
So we have a lot of young dental students, a lot of young dentists. So I'm a 30-year-old dentist listening. Shannon, tell me what I need to know about the assisting position.
Kirk, I will say that the worst part about dental schools right now is they really, when I was going to dental school and I went to Wake Forest to get my dental assisting degree, we basically were working with dentists at that time. Right now in all these dental schools, no assistant is working with any dentist because they're all closed down. There's not a school where the doctor is working and doctor goes to school and the assistant is with them at the same time. The only time they ever work with the assistant is when they're going to go take their exams. And I think that's a problem, because we weren't from day one working with an assistant to say, we're a team.
Right.
We're a team right now. And so it's hard when you get out and you're not working with the assistant. The one thing I can tell you is it was never about money.
Yeah.
It's never about money. It's telling me, hey, you are just as worthy as I am, and I trust your opinion, I trust you. Yeah, they got to be trained first, but letting them have a voice, and then when they're trained to do these things I mean, there's so much that assistants can do nowadays that we couldn't do before.
Yeah.
Let them run with it. Don't still keep control. Just like this morning, I was giving a course on provisionals. There's 40 assistants in this room along with dentists, and they're like, well, the doctor really doesn't let me trim as much. And these provisionals, 6-unit provisionals, were gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I said, you got to go back and say, listen, you paid for me to take the course. You got to let me do this.
Right.
They're so talented.
Yeah.
You got to let them go.
Okay, now I want you to talk about the why about that. Now, and we can even throw this into the conversation. So, expanded functions, how many states allow?
Oh, right now, I think it's growing. Actually, I just looked last night. I think there's 2 more that were added to the list. The ADA just announced through, I think Dr. Bicuspid just made a big announcement a couple of weeks ago. I was shocked. So right now, I think it's up to like 19, 20, maybe 21.
Okay.
But it's pretty soon it's going to be half, at least half.
And then how many of them can do anesthesia? I mean,
none. No assistants can do anesthesia, but I saw it was 2 states, and I wish I had that, but it was 1 state. I just noticed that the assistant can actually do scaling, but not subdental, but they're allowed to do some scaling, and I would say that that's not the assistant's dream. We don't want to scale, but our dream is that we can do these expanded functions. But let's talk about the worst part.
Yes.
The worst part is there's 337,000 dental assistants, and less than 28,000 are certified.
Wow.
So the value of certification is gone.
Okay, tell us why. You got to tell us.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because you know why? The difference in the pay for an assistant who is certified versus one that's not is pennies.
Yeah.
And we just had this conversation last night. It's pennies. Why would I continue to pay my $300, every 2 years and keep my CDA if I basically can do the same, same thing I'm doing in a practice and not be certified,
right.
and the doctor does not elevate that as far as the salary goes. There's no difference in the salary, so they don't see it. So right now, 337,000 and only less than 30 are certified. It's sad.
It is sad. And one thing that the direction I was going is that when you let your assistant do what they can, so talk about utilization. So you talk about developing somebody that's an important part of the practice and you don't utilize their skills. What you do as a dentist, and I'm talking to you as a dentist, is you overfunction. You take photographs. You do things that I've watched you teach photography. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Now, I'm not a dentist, but when I watched you teach photography for the first time, I was like, okay, I don't think I would ever even attempt photography. Like what most dentists do, and you can disagree with me because we're friends, they don't utilize or they don't give their assistants the ability to do what they can do fully.
Right.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. And everybody has a craft.
Right.
It's amazing sometimes. I mean, I'm no dummy. I probably learned this from you better than anybody. I surround myself by people that are very talented. And even when we were doing courses, I have team members that are really good at CEREC. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so good. You're not doing endo. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're good at this, and we're going to run with it. And they love it. So find what they love. And listen, if you said, this morning I got a root canal on my schedule, I'm not doing the root canal. I hate root canals. But I got team members that love that. I'm better at, scanning and consults and whitening, and orthodontics. Find what they love and let them run with it. But everybody has a skill set. You have to find out what that is and then get them to feel like, wow, I am really good at this and own it and let go. Let them run with it. That's how you're going to keep them, is letting me to bloom and blossom and most importantly, do more by myself, because again, that's what we yearn for, is to feel like we are a part of that team. But most importantly, everybody always says, oh, a hygiene's a producer, a dentist is a producer. I'm a producer too.
Absolutely.
And I think that this is the mindset that doctors have to have, is listen, I always say we're the best reflection of you. We love our doctors, we wouldn't be there. And if I wasn't working today, could you really work? We need each other. We love each other. And listen, we love our dentists. Let's be honest. I love my dentist. But I love my doctor because he lets me be Shannon. Yeah. And he gives me the credit and he says, thank you and I love you, and it's not about the money. During COVID, I made $15 an hour. I can show you my page, $15 an hour. Listen, it wasn't about the money. It was about doing something I really loved.
Yeah.
And when I can make $15 an hour, and that was the only job I had, Kurt, it wasn't about the money. It's never about the money. These team members just want to be appreciated. We want that thank you.
Totally.
And we'll stay with you forever.
You are the best. We are going to cover so many of those topics. I do want to cover, you are here, you're one of the hardest working people I've ever met. So I want to talk about what you're teaching today. Okay. And you were teaching yesterday. Are you teaching tomorrow?
I am.
Oh my gosh.
I got a really cool course tomorrow. I hadn't even told you about it.
They are working you. I love these.
I got 6 courses here. They don't even have them published.
Oh my gosh, I only have 2. I'm a lightweight.
Well,
You're doing
I love it.
6. 6 has to be the highest of any
6.
Any speaker.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you teaching?
So yesterday I taught on whitening.
Okay.
And I do a ton of whitening. Whitening is like, oh my God, I do backflips. I've whitened about 3,200 patients, so whitening is definitely my passion. And what was great about it is over the last year, I just see people just not really seeing a value in whitening, and it's cash. How dumb is that, right? I mean, they're like, oh, whitening really doesn't make me any money. $249 for an hour's worth of whitening is good money.
Yeah.
And it's more than some associates make, and so this is where we got to change the mindset, and people want it. So they're going to do it for you, or they're going to come to someone else and get it. And yesterday, there were 40 dentists in their team that were very serious about doing more whitening because they know that, hey, listen, we got to generate an income, and everybody wants to smile. But what I always want people to understand is it's not about the whitening, it's what comes from it. And I think just understanding that more treatment will come when you're doing that and you're making people happy about their smiles. And so it was a really good course. It was a great turnout. I was actually shocked.
Wow.
Today was on provisionals and really just aesthetic provisionals. Anybody can teach the team how to do a single crown. I mean, shoot, my kid could teach that, right? It's really making aesthetic dentistry because we hope that, we can have that really elevate the skill set. And if you can teach me how to use, with different burrs and sculpting these teeth, that's what these doctors want. But most importantly, these assistants, they have such artistic skills.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to grab it and bring it out of them. And it was amazing to see them making these 6-unit. And like, take this back to your doctor. They're going to flip out.
Okay, go back to that. Tell me some of your biggest highs. Like when you see an assistant do this is when you go, nailed it.
You know what killed me was this. There was 4 assistants in the front row, and one of them said, she said, our doctor makes us use sometimes these little blocks of acrylic. And I'm like, what? This is what age? I mean, I could not believe it. And she says, we're struggling so hard. And she says, sometimes we'll use a little wax button, or we've got this big Bertha burr and this big old bullet. And I said, you're never going to make a 6-unit provisional with a bullet, But you're always, what I find is that they're using what they got out of dental school, right? They're using the same burrs. We don't really change. We're creatures of habit. And I said, we're not using that today. I said, and you're using these discs. And I said, you're going to understand when I tell you out of the gate, you're going to make better restorations. But what was so cool is when you're done and you look at it and you're like, I'm like, do you understand? In just 3 hours where you came from? Doing taking a block of crappy acrylic, because I was like, if a doctor told me I was going to mix powder and liquid acrylic, I'd quit, right? I'm serious. And but these girls, this is what they were doing. That's and they made a 6-unit, I would have it in my mouth, I'm going to tell you. And I've had some good dentistry. But I was like, I just want to cry for them. I was like, oh my God. And I said, the last thing you better do is leave this here. You better put this in a bag, and you better take this with them and show your dentist. They are so amazing. And it was just really neat to see the aha moment of just little things and knowing that they're really listening, but they have to do some kind of hands-on, Kirk. You know that. You're the hands-on. You always believe in that. People can do online training and they can do lectures, but we need the hands-on component because it doesn't register.
No.
But to see where they came in with and where they were, it's like, it makes me want to cry. So it's so awesome just to see that. And they didn't know they could do that.
Yeah.
That's what's cool.
That's what's super cool. Yeah, I just love that. I love that. And then, what are you teaching tomorrow?
So tomorrow is a new course.
Okay, what do you
tomorrow? So one of the things that we see, and I had no idea, and I don't know if you've had Amber Auger on yet with you. So Amber and I have been really good friends. We work together with the ADA, and Amber is like hot. She's like probably one of the hottest hygienists right now. Up and coming. She teaches just young hygienists how to excel, and hers is thriving in the op. So I got to get Amber on here with you to talk to you. But anyway, so we were talking, and I said, Amber, she said, Shannon, there's such a shortage, and she had this number. It was like 191,000 openings for hygienists right now. Did you know that? It's like 191,000.
That's a lot.
I was like, oh my God. And so we were talking, and she said, Shannon, I said, one of the things in one of my practices that I work part-time in is the hygienist has an assistant. Every hygienist has an assistant. And I said, and they work, it's a fine oiled machine, but they work as a team. And our assistants are making like $50,000 a year. I'm just being honest, we're talking about money here. And I'm only doing that because I want them to understand where I'm going with this. The assistant usually comes in our office on, they come in as a hygiene assistant and then they move up to restorative. Our assistants are not moving up. Why would they? They're sitting with someone that they partnered with now. It's similar to the relationship with the dentist, but better. They work together. Everything they do is together.
Wow.
And so if you think about how many patients they used to see in one chair, so I go in as the assistant, I'm taking the x-rays, I do the digital scanning. I tried to tell iTero this and Invisalign this from day one. They say, oh, hygienist will scan. You're adding one more thing to their plate. The assistants are the best scanners. I'm sorry, hygienists, hope don't get upset, but we are, because this is what we do.
Right.
The assistant goes in, they scan, they take the x-rays, they take the photos, we gather all the records, hygienist comes in and do their part. Then I go back in, I'll floss, curl and polish, I'll stay there while the dentist is presenting the treatment. And now our hygienists have been in our practice for 20 plus years. They don't leave because they're not just worn out. And the assistants get to do all these really cool things. I mean, we're taking the blood pressure, we're doing the saliva testing, we're doing the scanning, we're presenting the findings. And she said, Shannon, oh my God, I wish I had an assistant. And I said, this is a fine old machine. And what is great about this is the patient care.
Wow.
And it's not robotic, it's not in and out. So tomorrow what we're doing is we're showing how more practices should be doing this, because look at the shortage. 191,000 openings? 191,000. I'll get you the exact number, but it was on our screen. I said, oh my God. And dentists can't find hygienists. Well, guess what? Hire an assistant, train us to do all this high-tech stuff, taking the scans, and now we're working as a team, and we're producing 3 times what we used to. 3 times, Kirk. And the case acceptance is up 27%.
Okay. I might sneak out of my lecture and just watch yours for a little bit.
It's pretty cool. It's really going to be great. But you know what's the best part?
What?
Let's put the money aside. There is a wall. Let's be honest. You've been in dentistry for a long time.
Yeah.
The assistant and the hygienist has a wall.
What's
I don't
the wall?
care.
Explain what it is. What is
it? It is this persona of assistants feel like they're lowest on the totem pole, and hygienists sometimes, people think the persona of a hygienist, like I say, so my best friend's a hygienist, is that they think they're better than us, or they're paid 3 times as much as we are. And it's true, but they've gone to school a lot longer, as most of us, and so I know why, right? But the thing is we always feel like we're not. And the thing is that what Amber and I hoped to do was to change that.
Yeah.
Because we said, we have to do something. The practice is not run if everybody's not on the same page. It doesn't matter what role you have. And this has really been so cool to see this work. And these assistants now will not leave. They don't want to go work for the dentist. They want to stay with the hygienist. That's what's cool. And I said, Amber, this is like, can you imagine if we could really change the dynamics between the assistants and the hygienists? How much more dentistry and what the standard of care and the better of the patient, which is why we're in dentistry, is going to change. And she said, I love this. And so that's what we're hoping to do tomorrow. It's sold out. I think we got like 400 people coming to hear how they can do it.
Yeah, I have like 11 people. So, Andy, if we cancel, if I sneak out, why don't you do the rest of my lecture? I'm going to go watch them. How's that?
It's going to be fun. It's cool, though. But, it's great to see all these things that could happen. The possibilities in dentistry are really
tremendous.
It is.
Now, obviously, I'm a big fan. So you're going to be doing some courses for us, which I'm going to explain in a minute. But I did some intel on you yesterday, and we found out, which I shared with you. Somebody else told us, a little birdie told us, you are one of the biggest sellers on Etsy. Now, it's not the sales piece, it's the why piece.
Yes.
So can you take us through, and I've got an assortment of things that you've shared. So first of all, take us through the journey. Like what did you start doing?
So, I wanted something for assistants, and I did this about 3 years ago, and I had a store called the Dental Assistant Store.
Okay.
And there was a subscription box that I had at that time that we really started out because we wanted it to be like products and materials so you could evaluate it as an assistant. So anything that was new, we would put it in this box, and it went out quarterly. And it started out maybe a couple of assistants wanted it, and then we went from like, I gotta take her, we went from like maybe 4 or 5 boxes to like 50 boxes in like a month. People were signing up for this. And it was, the manufacturers would basically support it and give us new products and materials, but it went in the hands of the assistant, which was great, right to the door, of the practice. And it grew and grew, but I will tell you, just with all the work, I just didn't have the time to do it. It was like over the top, right? But I still wanted to have something like that. But one of the things that I found was, I was talking to my friends and they said, well, you call it the dental assistant store. What about the hygienist? What about the office team? And you're talking about being a component of the practice. You're kind of like, and I was like, oh, you're right, but I love assistants. This is why we did it, because there's nothing for us. And they were like, yeah, but you're not really thinking about the whole team here.
Yeah.
And because assistants will move up front and work up front, and we really want to do that. And so I thought, okay, and I said, well, then what would I change it to? And then I thought, well, what about teeth obsessed? Well, we're all obsessive. And I will say that there's another company out there, and I want to toot their horn for a little bit. called Dental Hygiene Nation.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan. And it is for hygienists, but it's a subscription box. And I have had this subscription. I love what they do. They're amazing. And they've been around for a long time, several years. And so I buy 3 boxes. And can I tell you, I don't even share them. They're mine. I love everything that comes in this box. So I want to make sure I toot that horn too. But I will say that in dentistry, life is hard. You know, at the end of the day, we get rejected all day long, right? And we keep on saying, we're going to get a yes, we're going to get a yes. And I think that during COVID, this was just like, wow, we need to, I need to do something else for me, something else. And I thought, well, I would find these shirts or T-shirts and things like that. I'm like, man, if we just made T-shirts, we had fun stuff to do. And then I thought, well, it's stickers. People love stickers. And then I was like, well, earrings. I love earrings. And so I just said, I'm going to make these. So I ended up starting with a little tiny Cricut and watching some YouTube. And then I was like, I could do that. I was like, if I can trim provisionals, I can make a foam pop. And then I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. I like this, So then I started making these earrings and started, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. If I'm doing this, I want it to be for something good.
Right.
When I had my subscription box, almost 100% of that money went back to assistants. I mean, I would buy. Honestly, Kirk, okay, be honest, I would buy uniforms. I had an assistant whose house burned down, and do you know that she had no money and she had no uniforms? Wow. So I bought her uniforms. I paid for another assistant who had 3 little kids and had no power. I was like, I can't live knowing that someone is hurting like this, right?
Right.
And so buying food, buying diapers, buying milk, paying for, just little things. And I was like, wait a minute, how can I do more of this? So I thought, well, maybe this is the answer. And so last year we bought probably close to like 20-something, I think, Thanksgiving meals. When I say meals, they pick what they want. We just give them the money and they can go and buy it. We give gift cards. But what was also great is, there's a lot of single moms.
Yeah.
And a lot of moms that need our help. And some of these people never ask for help. They don't ask. And because we're honorable people, we don't want to have to ask for help. And I was like, listen, if there's anybody you can come to, you can come to me. Nobody will ever know.
Yeah.
And buying these toys, my husband goes, you're like a crazy person. And I said, no, I'm giving back to my people, and it's something that I think, we want to do more of. And so as I was making these earrings, it's kind of it's therapy. It's a getaway. But then I was like, man, let's really blow it up. Let's make some stupid stuff. And my husband, he sells military equipment to the dental equipment and military to the military. And he was like, man, this is the dumbest thing. Nobody's ever going to buy these stickers and foam pops. And my house looks like a hoarder. If you saw it, you'd be like, oh my God, Shannon. And I said, you know what? I stay up late. This is my passion, and making people happy. And it's been so much fun, because we are teeth obsessed. We love T-shirts.
Right.
We love
Now, I love
lunchboxes.
your husband, so I'm telling but these are, nobody does this stuff.
No.
Nobody you did this, and then you also did Go. Explain
Yes.
Go.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of manufacturers that I love, and so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm teaching a lot of whitening courses, so I made this little whitening earrings, and I just cut them out. I have a little acrylic cutter, and so I made these like boxes of Go whitening earrings, and they were like, we love this. So Karen bought like all these Go bleaching boxes for all their sales team. And so it was fun to see them come in and they say, you made this, didn't you make these? And I'm like, yes, and they're wearing them. And I'm like, oh my God, those are my earrings. It's like, so anyway, then I made some iTero scanners. Like, man, let's really push this, right? So I made iTero scanners. I made some Sonicare. I also made some impressions, putty impressions for Colzer. So then it was like, okay, now I've got like Boco. They're like, hey, what can you make for us for Boco? And I was like, I can do just about anything now. I never thought I could do these things. And then I thought, let's make it really fun. And I found a cartoonist, and they started drawing these characters for me. And I thought, man, I should have talked to you first because I know you love things like this. And so I started making these things, and my husband would say, this is so stupid, and I'm like, shut up, I'm doing this. And I would tell you, people won't, sometimes I think, oh my God, people got to better themselves, pay for the education. I'm like, people won't pay for education, but they'll buy 100 foam pops, they'll buy T-shirts, they'll buy stickers, but we are teeth obsessed, and there's not a lot out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm growing succulents, and I've got these tooth planners, and I'm doing all these things, and my husband goes, oh my God, just forget dentistry. But I would say that it's a lot of fun. But being able to give that money back to these team members that need help, it's cool.
You are the ultimate visionary. Like, it's so cool. So we're going to call it out a couple times. So, like, if I'm watching or I'm listening, where am I going?
So this is called Teeth Obsessed.
Teeth Obsessed.
And so we
Etsy.
have on Etsy. We also have our own website, just teethobsessed.com.
Okay.
And again, 30%. Actually, I would tell you, honestly, if I had to give you, it would be more than like 40 because I'm not going to turn anybody away. But 30% of our proceeds go back to assistants in need.
That's awesome.
And a lot of it is actually people that work in practices with those team members, and they don't have to just be assistants. They don't have to be assistants. And they will say, hey, this person needs help, and we're like, we're going to get the help for them. And so that's one of the things I think is important. When we see people like that, we want to give back. Because it's not about the money.
Yeah.
You never chase money. Money will come.
Absolutely.
It's what you do.
You're living in the creativity aspect of it. This is brilliant. Like, you guys got to check this out. Like, you got to tell me what this.
This is Miss Flossie. This is Miss
Where's
Flossie.
the other one? You show me
so
another
I have
one.
Miss Flossie. I have this one. I got to show you the keychain really quick.
Okay, this
Hang
is
on.
amazing. Now,
So I have
now,
one.
My
So-
first thought was like, okay, that's a
my
little. And you said, Andy, it's right on the line.
Oh man, it is right on the line. But Andy, I didn't show you this. Okay, now don't freak out.
These are like. So how did this come to be? Like,
I was telling you, I said that, I hired a cartoonist and we were making, so here's another one. So I have like a third molar.
Oh, wow. I didn't see this one.
just, oh my gosh, I would tell you, it was just funny. I have
Look at
one,
those earrings.
and I thought
Oh
I
my
can't
gosh.
leave out the guys, and I'm looking for it, but I must have had it in my purse or even gave it to somebody. But so we have like canines, molars, and they're dancing, and they all have on like little thongs. I'll be honest, okay, but it's floss, right?
It's floss.
And it was just like fun. And when I gave this to my cartoonist, because what I originally made was an assistant, a super assistant, and she had a floss dagger, right? So the floss is coming out, it's a floss pick. And then I thought, okay, well, there's male assistants, so we need a male, we need a male super assistant. And then we were like, okay, now let's really be stupid here. Let's make some really fun stuff. And so when we came out with Miss Flossie, it was like, oh my God, are people really gonna buy this? This is hilarious. And I did it as a gag gift, but this is my @1 seller. It's like, oh my God, people love this. It's like, I have Miss Flossie t-shirts, I've got bags, I have lunch boxes. And what's fun is they're like, at the end of the day, there are days that are so tough, but I can just look at that sticker with that floss and that thong on, and I just laugh my tail off. And I'm like, that's what dentistry's about.
You have a gift. Like, that is really clever, and it's really funny, and it's on the line. Do you know what I mean?
It is
Like,
on the line.
It is
Let me
on the
tell you,
line.
The ADA was like, Shannon, we're going to get some of this stuff and give away to some of our our speakers and some of the gifts and stuff like that. And they said, but we don't know if we can get away with it. And I said, listen, people, the problem in dentistry is we don't laugh enough.
Yeah.
We need that laughter.
Okay.
And this is it.
Okay, and I was holding this one. This is
man.
my secret. I'm actually gonna totally steal this from you.
Take
like
it.
Literally, I'm gonna lift it right now.
It's so awesome.
Because this is your brainchild, and I freaking love this. So you got to tell
It's
me.
hilarious.
You got to tell us what the. So you went from the tooth to
Smart aleck.
to smart.
I'm not gonna cuss, but the more smart aleckly some of the things are that we say. Like I have one that actually is a tooth and it's got a brain in its hand. It says, "Hey, you dropped this."
Yeah.
Things like that that are so just. And this one, you probably can't show this one.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I can't say this because I'm going to.
my 95-year-old grandmother watches these.
I'm sorry, Grandma, but I got to say something to you, and I don't want to make people cry today, okay? But let me tell you about this one.
I love that one.
So-
Oh my God, I'm stealing this one
And
too.
I'm gonna try not to cry.
You can show them. We're going to show them on air.
I'm going to tell you where I got this from. So, Todd Ehrlich,
Oh, really?
who passed.
Oh,
His
that's so
assistant, Cindy.
sad.
I mean, Todd was an amazing person. I don't want to cry. He
I
was
didn't
amazing.
know him, but I heard so many great stories.
The most honest person I think I've ever met.
That's awesome.
And so anyway, wow. And his assistant Cindy, it was funny because they worked so well together. And I had them. I was teaching last year, year before last, actually for Sorona World. And part of Sorona World is the dentist came with their assistant, and I had three different guests, and it was Todd and Cindy, and it was T-Bone and his assistant, and then it was Dr. Enfinger, who teaches at Spear and teaches Sarek at Spear, Life Spear, and his assistant John, who's a male assistant, which was pretty cool, right? And everybody did an amazing job. And one of the things that Todd and Cindy, as they're talking, they're looking at each other just like you and I are.
Yeah.
And listen, they're both married, but they have a marriage,
Yeah.
and it was just watching them. And what I love about Cindy, if you've never met Cindy, she is like, man, she is a fireball. She fires it back at him, and they had their show, Dental Enamel, and it was just amazing to watch them. And I know she doesn't even know I was like one of her biggest fans, but I was really a big fan of Todd because there was no bull crap. I mean, it was like he told it like it is, right? And so one time Cindy was in the course with him, and they always talked together, and the camera, they were taking photos, and the camera went to her, and she pulled up her sock, and she had on socks that said, "This meeting is bull
Whoa.
And it was Todd's meeting. They always did things like that, joking with each other, right? Laughing, cutting up. And so I remember I was like, Cindy, hey, I got the best shirt for you. I've got some new socks for you. And I have to say I got that from those two. You know, and even though you're like, okay, well, that might not be something, but let me tell you, it's the fun of dentistry we got to bring back. And they had that fun. And I feel like this is, again, what we're missing. And the octopus is our mascot for assistants. We always say we're like an octopus.
Okay, you got to explain just in case somebody's listening.
I love octopus, and I will say that, octopus, they have, they're the smartest, one of the smartest animals. They have, so they have 9 brains. They have 3 hearts. And I say that, as assistants, we always have to hold so many instruments. And so this is why we made this our mascot. And so I was like, okay, well, let's be really wise on this and be smart aleck. And one of the things that I had saw this shirt and said, I'm glad I got so many arms so I can slap all, 8 people at once, right? So I was like, well, we don't want to say that, but we can hold all these instruments and have fun. And then I was like, you know what, the heck with it. If I make somebody mad, assistants get it. But we have to have fun. We have to, And it was like, am I trying to be a nice person? No. Do I want to change? No. And it's things like that sometimes we might not want to say, but it's fun. It's what it's about, right?
You are making it a lot of fun. So where do you go next with this? Like, you're always thinking of great things.
Mark Cuban. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
There you go.
I think, with dentistry, we all have something we have to do.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, we want to work our very best. And I think, honestly, having this has made me really do my very best because I've got an out. And when we don't have that out, we don't know what's going to happen, right? And so this has been fun. And what I want to do is I would love to do more. I thought about doing a subscription, but the earrings, I would tell you, people love. And that's really probably what I'm known for on there. But I feel like this has made me be able to help people find their craft. You got it. I just had this at lunch. We did a lunch chat. And these assistants and office managers are burnt out. And I said, well, then guess what? You need an outlet. Because you love dentistry, you work for a good doctor, and you're getting paid well, but you got to find something else to do to release this, release whatever stress you've got. Don't get out of dentistry. We got to keep these people in dentistry.
Amen. You are doing such an amazing job. Like, I have 90 more questions I want to ask you, but it's the end of the day. Now, selfishly, I'm so proud of you, and I know the power of what you do, that we're pulling you back into our community. And you did for so many years. So I tell dentists all the time, like, if you're looking for a place to inspire the heck out of your assistants, like, tell us what we're going to learn if they come to your course. Well, like, Kirk, what are we going to learn?
You're different. Your courses are the ones that I want to teach at, because when a doctor comes with their assistant, oh man, sky is the limit.
Right.
They almost cannot not turn it over now. Right. You're sitting with me and we're here, you got to turn it over. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is that you don't want a single crown. We're doing scanning. We're going to do CEREC. We've got some scanners coming in, digital scanners, and lots of different, I think, technology. And that's one of the things that I loved when I was talking to Christine. She was like, what are we doing? Right. And I said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, tell me what you want. And she said, well, how much can you do? And I said, let's do lasers. Let's talk about, the 6-unit cases. Let's talk about digital scanning. Let's talk about printing. So we're going to be bringing a lot of technology that maybe they may be using or maybe they're not.
Right.
And so this way they will learn how to be efficient, and really, I think building that digital workflow is what everybody's really looking for right now.
Yeah.
So, and utilizing the assistant to say, hey, doctor, these assistants are artists. They can do these things. And so I think 2 full days of that is what's going to be really different, because you can't get a real full digital workflow anywhere right now for 2 days.
Right.
They're going to learn that.
Totally agree. So that's going to be September 21st and 22nd, 2023. Now, this question comes up. Can I just send my assistants? Your opinion, be honest.
I would say yes. You know what? The last thing I want to do is, if somebody wants that and they know that their doctor can't come, they still got to come.
But best practice would be to drag your doctor.
Because, at the end of the day, it's different when the doctor is beside you.
Why?
Who else does that?
Why?
Nobody does that. You're the only one. Nobody does that. No, nobody does that.
Somebody's got to do that.
I swear to you. I would lie to you. Nobody does that.
Let's just speak of the why. Because if you send your assistant to a course, they go, it was amazing.
Right.
And the doctor goes, so what was it about? They're not going to be able to transfer the entire experience. Right. They might be able to give words to a few things, but there's nothing more powerful than having your doctor. Here's what I'm really going to say. There's nothing more powerful for you as a doctor to say, I'm sitting next to you because I care, and we're going to do this together.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, too, the doctor doesn't even know the capabilities that assistant really had.
Agreed.
That's what's crazy. At the end of the day, they didn't know they could do those things because they never gave them the chance to do it. And the beauty is now that they've done it, Doc, you don't have a choice. You got to turn it over because they just showed you they could do it. So I think that's the thing. And how many courses do doctors go to and they come back and they drop all this stuff and they give us everything all this equipment, and they're like, hey, here you go.
So what you're saying is, in a 2-day course, you're going to make me very aware what
Absolutely.
my assistant can do. And then you're going to kind of hold me accountable and call me out and say, look, you got to go back and do this.
I don't think they understand that, we're gonna find what they do best. But, assistants want and they yearn to feel needed. They yearn to get to that next level. And if you don't invest, one thing I always say is when you invest in me, I'm going to always remember that.
Amen.
I'm going to forever be grateful. And you want me to stay with you for 30 years? Let's be partners in this and let me grow. I can't just keep doing the same daggone thing I always done. And I think that this is where we have to. And sometimes we're better at it than the doctor. No offense, but we got to find out what that is.
Not sometimes.
Okay, all the time. Be nice. But scanning, that is my jam. And scanning and presenting that treatment,
100%.
that's my jam. And listen, no matter what the doctor says, I don't care. They look at us and say, should we do this? You already know that.
Yeah.
But when we're together, let's learn some really cool stuff, but let's put it all together. Let's find out how you can be more efficient and grow. But most importantly, the technology, most of your clients have that. But I really want to encourage the dentist to do that. That experience of knowing that you're there for me and you're sitting beside me, we're together as a team, you're only going to go up from there. Can you imagine what happens on that Monday when you go back to work? It's like different.
It's life-changing.
It's life-changing.
Shannon Pace-Brinker, you are freaking amazing.
Oh, shoot. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't believe you. I didn't even know you were going to talk about my
oh, my God. This is the stuff I love talking about.
Awesome.
We could talk dentistry for a while, but that's,
so cool.
we're only going to, my hope and everybody listening, number one, you see the power in what Shannon, it's the thinking that you provide to these offices. So powerful. And then the doing, and then the training, and then the other stuff that you're doing. This is just creative, crazy, cool stuff. So you got to check it out. So,
well, and if there's anyone that's listening that knows, hey, the holidays are coming.
Yeah.
And I got 6 kids. Wake up and those kids don't have any Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding me? And I just can't have that.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that we're the place that I want them to come.
That's
we
awesome.
might not be able to do a whole lot, but we'll do something. If I can't get it, I can't tell you. We'll find somebody. But we don't want these kids doing without.
Yeah.
And if we don't help our own community, who's going to?
Absolutely.
So we need to do that.
I love it. So a couple things. Make sure you check out the course in September 21st and 22nd, 2023, because you're going to absolutely love it. I also want you, let's give another call out to this. How do I find out more?
Teethobsessed.com. You can find us on Etsy, and that, we actually have a lot more on Etsy, only because we just, it's booming, right?
Okay.
But we also have our own website too, and we do a lot of things for like study clubs, fundraisers, things like that. So I want to know that if you're doing a fundraiser and you really want to make some extra income for whatever you're doing, let us know. We'd love to help you out.
Yeah,
too.
and if you have a study club and you haven't had Shannon speak, my first thought is, what are you thinking? So if I wanted you to speak to my study club, how do I get a hold of you?
So my website is very easy. It could be shannonpacebrinker.com or chairsideassisting.com. That's the easiest place.
Chairsideassisting.com.
Yeah.
What else can I learn at Chairside Assisting? You probably have the most, I thought we had a lot of videos. You make us look like we're minor league.
But I think you were smart because you've got good people that are helping you. I would say that I think for me they're long. But the one thing I would say is like with our provisional, it's probably the most popular other than the whitening. It's it's 7 hours, but they can learn how to do a single unit, a 3 unit, a 6 unit, a multi-unit.
So let me ask you. So if I'm a dentist and I have a new chairside assistant, can I hypothetically help the training process by getting on there?
Yes, and we definitely want to do that. We have like a dental assistant essentials, and the great thing is the doctor can be attached to that learn, so you can see, am I doing it? What did I score? Am I passing on these quizzes? Things like that, which is great. And I think that if you're going to make that investment for your team, you want to make sure they're doing it. And then the other part is we have what's called a CE in a box, where we actually can ship models and handpieces. We ship Cure Lights. I've probably done maybe 100 just on attachment placement for Invisalign, where we ship all the materials to your office, and we get on live and we do it live together. And it's been really cool. I'm telling you, that's another great way to do some hands-on. So it's been really, really beneficial, I think, for both, right?
You are the best.
It's fun.
So I'm just going to say this. If you're listening and you haven't been taking notes, don't worry, we're taking notes. We're going to put them all in the show notes. So everything that Shannon has listed, you'll be able to see the link for it. You can click on it, check it out. I promise you will absolutely love it. And I can't wait to have you back again and again and again. So,
well, they need to come to the course. We're going to have some fun. And things
are.
we're going to be doing there, we haven't been doing on the road. So it's going to be amazing. And for 2 full days, you'll know it by the time you leave. So we're excited. Thank you for having us back again.
It is our
it's gonna
pleasure.
Be fun.
It is our pleasure. You are truly a gift to this great profession. So thank you for being on.
I'm no dummy. I surround myself by good people. That's why I'm here with you at this table.
You're
thank
the best.
you.
You're
I
the
appreciate
best.
you having me. This has been fun. And thank everybody for just listening. This is going to be It's going to be a great year for us, right? We're going to
100%.
We want to have some fun back in our life. We need it in
100%.
dentistry.
Yeah. And thank you guys for listening to the show or watching the show. Hey, if you enjoyed it today, please do us a favor. Just hit the share button, share it with your friends. Keep sending us suggestions. I'm going to have Shannon back, and we're going to ask her the tough questions. We'll have the expert answer them firsthand. But until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.